So this is the third of our classes in this course. Today we're focusing on intuition development. So you don't need to read this now. Yeah, absolutely. You don't need to read this now, but if you can just turn over maybe to the two diagrams on the back, then at least you have reference to what I'm going to talk about. So last week the last class, we were looking at meditation and the role of meditation in training the mind. And the next stage of that is looking more deeply about what intuition is and how we can deepen that sense of higher knowledge, hear more continuously that voice of conscious thought which is directing us, that's different from our ego thought, which is different from I should be doing this because of all the beliefs that we've been brought up with or the conditioning that we've been raised with. So essentially, if you gaze your eyes to the first diagram with the two triangles and the heart, as we develop our intuition, we are bringing this energy down from a spiritual source as we aspire upwards through our physical and emotional personality, and we are uniting the two within our soul. So our soul is like this magnetic force which is generating a potent power around a certain coloration or quality within you all as individuals. So you all have an individual soul with a unique, magnetic force, a unique quality and purpose. And hearing that voice of that soul, feeling that magnetic force of that soul, that directional power, is only possible when we've cleared through all of the junk of this lower aspect of ourselves, of the mind, of the emotions, of even our physical reality. You know, it's about living cleanly within our physical realm, caring for not only our physical earth, but also this physical earth, our physical body, having compassion for what we put into this body physically, as well as what we do with all the emotional stuff that either comes at us from outside, which isn't even our stuff. You know, some of us are like sponges, we take it on. It's like our boss or our kids or our husband or our partner ranting at us. And sometimes it's their stuff. Sometimes they're mirroring your stuff, and of course some awareness is required around that. But in the second diagram that you saw last week, I'm trying to illustrate what meditation does. You know, meditation is is probably one preliminary stage in clearing out those old emotions that are causing emotional reactions in our lives that are taking us away from a place of peace. So there's lots of meditation practices that bring us into peace. The way that I teach meditation is, yes, we need to find our place of peace, but then within that peace, then we go and do something. Then we listen to this higher voice, this intuition, this guidance. And then we go and act in the world. So it's like we go all the way up into the spiritual and inspirational realm, vibrational energy, this impulse, and then we bring it back down. We create this magnetic charge and we discharge it on the earth. But we can only fully do that if we've created this channel of peace within. So it's again, I said it last week or last time, you know, it is a continuous process. Of finding that peace, but not becoming completely losing ourselves and our, this amazing physical, emotional, mental apparatus that we have, and losing that and not being able to actually utilize that. Because some of us who fall into the more spiritual way of life would lose ourselves in the spirit, would go up, would aspire up, would become one with the world, the universe, and light, life and everything. And that would be it, that would be it. And then there was no working in the world, there's no actual carrying out of what our unique soul purpose actually is. So the work required in developing our intuition is essential to this acting out of our soul purpose on earth. So the practice today is building on the last time. So we will be doing some bits of meditation or simple meditative practices, but we will also be doing more self-examination of what is taking us away from this center of peace. What is it? Anger for us? Is it peace? Is it fear for us? What are those things? And I know I've been talking about these for those who've been coming to my class numerous times, but this is where we start to get into the nitty-gritty, into the specifics of actually what are my repetitive patterns? What is my emotional charge that I'm carrying with me, that's colouring me, that's stopping me from being this clear channel? I've joked about before, like I have things, I'm completely peaceful and then normal, and then someone, when I'm driving, tries to let me out. I mean, they're trying to be a nice person, but it really gets me because I'm not looking at them, I'm looking at the road. So why would I see them when they're going like this? But they're letting me out, and then by the time I've seen them, they're getting frustrated with me, and then I'm angry, and then it's all a big story, about how angry I am about this person being actually quite nice to me. So anyway, we all have our things. We all have our reasons why we are here, not only to give, but also to learn. So, with all that, we will begin. If you want to grab a bolster or a little block and just prop it underneath the base of your spine. And just see how your physical feels. Just take a few movements of your spine, whether it's circling or whether it's kind of cat-cow. Then close your eyes. Just take a big breath in and a big breath out through the mouth. Let's all do some cat-cows together, bringing our hands on our knees and just exhale, rounding our spine. Inhale, drawing our chest through. Exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Slow things down. And coming back into ourselves, leaving behind whatever is going on outside of this room. Just to observe your breath right now. In our very first part of this course, we just simply watched our breath. And every time we become distracted, we just come back to watching the breath, come back to a point of stillness, come back to our center. And then coming to stationary, sit your spine up nice and tall. Draw your shoulders up and back. Turn your palms up. Bring your thumb and your first finger together. Your other three fingers loosely falling out. And just lengthening the spine. Inhale. Imagine that breath is growing from the base of your spine up through the crown of your head. And on the exhale, from the crown of the head back down the spine and into the earth, rooting yourself. Growing up with that inhale, fill your lungs, grow your branches into the ether, and exhale, root yourself back down into the earth. See if you can take a slightly deeper breath by exhaling a little more. Anyone who has an Ujjayi practice can bring that in, a slight constriction of your throat so you can hear your breath. Still with this visualization of rooting on your exhale down into the earth and growing your branches up into the ether, up into space, up into the divine on that inhale. Clearing everything in between. And for 3 to 5 breaths, take as big a breath as you can, as big an exhale as you can. And imagine that this big breaths are really clearing and cleansing your physical, emotional, and mental body. Grow those roots deeper, stabilize yourself physically. Feel that nurturing from the earth, from your physical, from everything at the atomic level. And inhale, breathe in all that light, breathe in that space. And so that you don't get too dizzy, just return back to your normal breathing. With your gaze inwards and upwards to your third eye, your seat of your intuitive soul. And as you gaze inwards and upwards, maybe you can perceive a dark black circle, or maybe even a midnight blue circle. Looking inwards and upwards to that midnight blue circle or dark black circle. Maybe colours around that circle. And breathing in from the edges of your nostrils and up to that place. Clearing out anything that's colouring your eyes. Expanding your senses from those 5 that we've been through to the 6th sense of intuition. And setting our intention for our practice to follow this voice of conscience, to follow this voice of intuition, to become its friend, not enemy. I'm going to sound Om 3 times, taking an inhale and exhale. And the inhale for 3 Oms. And just feeling the vibration of your body, the subtler level, the etheric counterpart of our physical. Sensing into that aspect of ourselves that is beyond our 5 senses. Becoming receptive to our vibrational quality, to our magnetic quality. And then just allowing your eyes to softly open. And then changing the crossings of your legs. So whichever way you've crossed them, just turn them the other way. And with your hands on your legs again, we'll really take deep circles. Bringing our chest forwards and back. And just feel into the parts of the spine that maybe are feeling more tense today. And then working up, evaluate your middle back, your shoulders, your neck. And the other way. And any movement that feels good. And then without moving the torso too much, see if you can rotate your head by lifting your chin and then dropping your chin. Imagining maybe your nose is drawing circles, as big a circles as it can. And changing the direction. Releasing tension within that extension of our spine towards our skull. And then bring your chin to your chest. Inhale, bring your chin to the sky. Exhale, chin to your chest. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Back to neutral spine. Extend your right hand out to the side of you, lifting your left arm up and just allowing yourself to lean over. I'm mirroring you. Drawing that shoulder blade back. Feel the stretch down the side. Rooting through the hips. Take 3 deep breaths. Exhale maybe through the mouth. 1 more. Inhale, coming up and over to the other side. Left fingers on the floor, right arm reaching up and over. Drawing that shoulder blade back to avoid rolling in. Keep the shoulders drawing back. Again, 3 deep breaths to fill the chest, to fill the lungs. Building up space in our side body, expanding our limitations. And starting working through our physical dis-ease within our body so that we can get up to access those higher faculties. Last one. And inhale back up to center. We're twisting to the right, so take the left hand to the right knee. Just looking over the shoulder. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist. Imagine that spine growing up and then twisting around. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale, release. Twist all the way around to the other side. Right hand on left knee. Left hand supporting your spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale, twist. And then come back to center. Take any movement with your fingers. Release your legs, wiggle your toes. Maybe shake your legs if they need a good shake. And have a little look at your feet, you know. Remind yourself these are yours, yeah? To look after. And it's as important to look after this physical body as it is our mental body, and the two are intrinsically connected. Soles of the feet together, a good foot away from our groin. And come into our first yin stretch. So you can keep on that block if you choose. If you need a little bit more, you can bring another block or another bolster. If your knees are up by your sides, that will be what your adjustment would be. And otherwise, we're just going to rest our head forward. Now, if you have any issues with your neck or your spine, you might choose to bend your elbows and just balm your eyes with your palms. Or you might like to take your bolster across your legs to rest your elbows on, if you've got bony elbows or bony thighs. And see if you can soften with the exhale. This is a real good release of our lower back, of our sacrum, the place where we store fear. You know, and there's lots of things that we do or we don't do in our lives out of fear. Fear of being judged, fear of not being good enough, fear of being labelled, fear of pushing people away. Sometimes the most amazing things happen to us when we do the most scary thing, when we push our boundaries, when we challenge ourselves, when we do something different, when we make different choices than our family, than our friends, than our society. And amazingly, if we stand by them when they're in truth, it sends ripples of inspiration, inspiring other people to also stand in their truth. If we're all going to live in fear, and we're all going to follow the voice of our ego, of whatever construct has been created in any one society, one culture of what is the right or wrong way to live our lives, there would be no change, there would be no evolution, there would be no spiritual progress. And when we stand in that place, when we do what feels right for us, when we stand against the tide, other people then do the same. It's like, oh yeah, I can do that. Show your light, share your love, inspire others, inspire yourself to be that person, to do those things. To live in the light of your soul is to be listening continuously to that intuitive power that you have. And we're all guided by the same one source, but we have different names, different labels for this context that we're talking about. And sometimes that sends fear into people and creates separation. Or they're different, they use different words, they speak differently, they understand the world in a different way. Taking a big inhale and exhale, let go of any of that fear that's rooted down in your spine to not to be who you really are. Not to live in your way, the way that works for you in this lifetime. Not the way that your parents think you should live. Not the way that your friends think you should live. You know, if your friends think you should live in a way that isn't true to you, then you need new friends. And every so often, it is quite healthy to have a friendship cull. You know, it sounds quite painful. But there are those friends that always bring us down. And we feel, you know, fearful of moving away from those people because of what we've shared in the past. That will never go away. Those people are still important to us and always will be. But right now, in your place of evolution and place of your truth, maybe you need to surround yourself with different types of people. Taking an inhale, exhale, see if you can melt a little more. Let your head drop fully. Maybe you're folding like a book, or you're imagining you're folding like a book, like you're melting towards the earth, like you're reconnecting with your true roots, your true foundation, which is the foundation of all humanity, of all animals, of all plants and minerals on this earth, which contains the same atomic mother with its differentiated style, but it is all in essence the same. Whether we go up or whether we go deep down, we come back to oneness, we come back to one place. Taking 3 more deep breaths here, softening with each exhale. Allowing whatever is holding in the physical and etheric realm to flow whatever is stagnant in our emotional plane, in our emotional body, starts to flow, starts to be freed. And whenever our thoughts become chittery-chattery, we come back to our breath. Last one. And then gently walking ourselves back up, rolling the spine up, moving away our props. Taking 3 cat-cows, inhaling and exhaling. Moving anything that's been freed within our etheric, our physical. Nice. And then come back to center. You can extend out your right leg and draw that left foot in a little more. Flexing that right foot, extend your right hand down that leg. Your left hand and your body draws towards that right leg, and then you inhale, open up. Open up and look back towards that palm. Exhale, folding over the extended leg. Inhale, open. Exhale, fold. Inhale, exhale. The next one, inhale, open. Left hand comes down underneath your shoulder. Inhale, lift your hips up. Right arm reaches over. Keep your hips lifted and turn your arm full 360, as wide as you can take your circle. And then the other way. Be in this body. Feel how it is to be a human in this body. And then sitting back down, bring your bolster underneath that knee. Align your hips to look over that leg. And fold yourself down. So you can use a block if you want to rest your forehead on. Or again, you can bend your elbows to rest your forehead. You may be licking or kissing your knee. But just be where you are without force. And going deeper into that back line of the body. The back line, which is our fear line. We're going deeper into the root of those fears, those fear stories, those fear patterns. And there is a great proportion of us in our Western culture who are greatly influenced by fear, who much of their decisions are actually, if you go to the root of them, created from fear and out of fear. And you only have to read a number of newspapers to see that. Fear kind of sells, makes money. We have it in our news, we have it in our popular culture, we have it in what we watch on telly, what we see at the cinema. And then how much of that do we take on board? How much do we think that the outside world is out to get us? As opposed to seeing everyone as souls, every single being out there is a soul, just as we are with our own shit, carrying our own bags, coated in conditioning, full of emotional charge. Taking your deep inhale, exhale, let go of some of your emotional charge. Step from fear and move into trust. Move into that place of peace. It's all well and good on the mat. It's all well and good when we're doing our meditation. But how can we bring that from our mat, from our space with ourselves on our own, to in how we interact with the world? How we deal with other road users, how we deal with our kids, with our parents, with our siblings, with our cousins, with our difficult neighbours. Taking a big inhale and exhale, how we communicate in trust as opposed to in fear. How much do you not say because you're fearful of what someone's going to how someone's going to react, what they might say to you. Whereas actually we can say some difficult things if we're speaking in truth, if we're speaking from that place of our soul. Just one more minute here, see if you can soften a little more. See if you can fold in a little deeper, see if you can let go. And when we start embodying that, when we start to free ourselves from these charges, which take us away from a peaceful state continuously, we start to be able to communicate that truth. We start to be able to actually express ourselves, and through that communication, other people respond. We start to create that world that is more true for us, because actually people know what it is. If we don't communicate it, then how does anyone else in the world know? You know, if you're used to playing the role of the victim, to take a classic, you always will be the victim unless you stand up for yourself, and so you work on that aspect that's keeping you in fear. Equally, if you're playing the kind of more aggressive or perpetrator role, you know, why does that happen? We'll move on to anger in a minute. But all of us at some point, or some aspect of ourselves, of acting in fear. Last 2 breaths here. Soften your head, watching your breath. Finding your place of peace. Within which you can see the world more fully. And then slowly coming up, we're going to keep our right elbow or right arm on our right leg, and bring our left arm open as if we're stretching back to kind of draw the chest open. Now take a big inhale, and then exhale, bend your elbow behind your back to drop the hand behind your back. Perfect. Keep drawing that shoulder blade down away from your ear. And if you have the flexibility, you can always extend that right hand down to the right foot. But wherever you're at, make sure you're not forcing. Make sure you're not bullying yourself. Close your eyes, watch your breath. Gaze inwards and upwards. Feel how your body feels to breathe. Nice. Whenever you come away from your place of peace, come back to that breath. We're only going to be here for another 30 seconds. If you want to take it further, you can always bring your hand behind your back, above your head, and almost drop it on top of your skull. Keeping your sits bones rooted down, keeping your hips balanced. Last 2. And as we create space, that's how we see more clearly. So we create the space between our story and our true self. Inhale, extend your arm back up to the sky. Allow that to draw you up to sitting. Reach both arms up, lengthen the spine. Interlace the fingers, push the arms away from you. Draw the shoulders back and down. Take a few breaths here. whilst keeping those shoulders away from your ears. Last one. And release. Wiggle your fingers, release your wrists, rub your face. And then bring the soles of your feet back together. 3 cat-cows in butterfly. Again, moving whatever's stagnant from your sacrum, moving it away. And changing sides, so extend your left leg out, bring your right foot in towards your thigh. Place your left hand on your left thigh, inhale, extend your arm up and open. Exhale, folding over the leg. Inhale, open up. Exhale. Enjoy. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. The last one, we inhale, open up. And then that right hand down under our shoulder, lift our hips up, stretch the left arm over. Take as big a circle as you can. A nice exhale through the mouth. Those parts that we don't look at. And then the other way, 3 times. And sitting back down. Turning towards that extended left leg, taking your bolster underneath that knee. Align your hips to look towards that extended leg. And then inhale, exhale, folding. Whether you're simply draping your body or whether you're supporting your eyes with your palms, or using a block, whatever works for you. Breathing down the leg and up the leg. And fear stops us in our personal life, whether it's what friendship groups, friends we associate with, whether it's our professional life, what we do professionally or as our career, or if I dare use the word vocation. Our vocation in theory is our true purpose of our soul. What's that deep passion in us that isn't just, just trying to make enough money to get by, that isn't just earning money to get the pension. That is actually what we feel that motivates us, that inspires us, that gives us energy by doing it. It's not just a drudgery for financial reward. See if you can soften, see if you can surrender here. It's in our family life, in our home life. What things are we not doing? What things are we doing too much of? In how we live, not just what we do, the quality of what we do, our interactions with everyday people. Do we judge people before we know them? Just one more minute here, softening into this pose a little more. Coming back to your breath every time your mind gets distracted. Watching that breath whenever the thoughts get busy and observing what are your triggers. What are your patterns? How would it feel to see those things that you do as not wholly you? With a little, it's almost like you're watching yourself in a soap. It's like your life is a soap. I mean, some of us would have really exciting, dramatic, and some of us would have quite boring ones. And sometimes, you know, the story that we're watching is the one that we feel most comfortable with, is what we're used to. And what would it feel like to change that story? Last 3 breaths in this pose. Just feeling that breath. Feeling what it is to live in this body. And being okay with that. And then coming up slowly, winding your spine up to open your right arm up as far as you can. And bend your elbow and support your head as you lean your side towards your extended leg. And then with another deep inhale to extend the opening. Then exhale, bend that elbow behind your back. Drop your hand into your waist. If you have the flexibility, of course, extend your left hand down your left leg to your toes or your feet. But keeping your chest open. And if your chest closes, then come back to a bent elbow, supporting your head. So again, this pose isn't going to be the longest, so see if you can come into that place of neutrality, of peace, as quick as possible, to turn your gaze inwards and upwards to that third eye, to watch the breath from your nostrils to the third eye. To turn your energy system upwards, to aspire to understand more than your limited capacity of your brain and of your 5 senses. To develop more than what much of society and scientific literature would tell us exists, although at the same time acknowledges that it doesn't know all. As we become able to understand more of the universe through science, much of what is in Eastern and esoterical teachings will become apparent, and the modern day voice will be able to communicate in a modern tongue. These simple truths that much of humanity is deeply known for a long time. One more breath. Inhaling, coming up. Lift both arms up, stretching the spine, interlace the fingers the way you don't want to. Push the palms up, draw the shoulders away from your ears. Take a couple of breaths, eyes closed or soft focus. And release your fingers, release your wrists, your elbows, some twists of your arms. Might feel nice. And then bringing, this time, your bolster away and your block. We're going to come onto our hands and knees. Hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Exhaling, rounding your spine. Inhale, dropping your belly, lifting your chest. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Back to center. So we're going to take this right foot and place it underneath our right knee, up next to where the right hand is. Any knee issues, of course, fold over that mat or grab a block or a blanket to put your knee onto. Otherwise, we're going to stand up. So make sure you feel supported here. See if you can draw your hips down. So you start to feel this in your hip flexor. You can support yourself with your hands on your thigh, or if you feel stable, you can have your hands on your hips. Closing your eyes, see if you can sink into this pose a little more. By allowing that back hip down, you may even want to walk that front foot forwards a little bit more. Equally, if that's too strong, you can simply have your hands either side of that front foot. So one is your sleeping dragon, one is your sitting dragon. You can also use two blocks. So here we go into our motion of anger, our anger triggers. And some of us think we don't feel anger. And normally, anger is a natural emotion. So normally everyone has the capacity to feel anger. But the problem is with anger is that for some of us, we suppress it and we turn it inwards on ourselves. We blame ourselves. Breathing here. Roar like a dragon on your exhale and the sensations become strong. Any pelvic issues or pubic issues, bring some movement into it, or back off completely. You know, this is a challenging pose. It brings up a sense of uncomfortability. We'd like to look around, we'd like to distract ourselves, we'd like to lift our hips up. See if you can use your breath, see if you can direct your one pointed focus into just being in the uncomfortability. It's okay to feel anger, it's what we do with it. Can we discharge it? You know, things will anger us, and there's a good side of anger too. It motivates us to change. You know, when we're angry at society, when we're angry at how corporations have manipulated or controlled things, it creates change through gathering people, bottom up, you know. But then if that anger continues, then continuous war descends. So how do we channel that anger into creating transformation that's not just war, whether it's within ourselves or it's out there in the world? How we then channel that anger into communication, into clear communication to create that change. To communicate with that person or people we're in conflict with. Now, toe heeling your right foot to the outside of your right hand. If you can go deeper, taking your bolster or block or a pile of blocks to bring your elbows onto the blocks or the bolsters. And then trying to just let our heads drop. Maybe you're even rolling your foot to the outside edge. And now we move into a new place of uncomfortability. It's too strong for my pelvis bone, so I'm going to back off. But for you, keep going. Unless you're getting any deep sensations, intense sensations that are kind of moving to pain, then you definitely need to back up or bring some movement into. Your eye gaze is inwards and upwards. Use your breath to move any sensations out of your body. Try and allow those hips to sink so that you get the full stretch. As we're slightly entering the hip zone, we're also touching on emotions of sadness. Again, another emotion that can colour us. You know, grief and sadness can stop us from getting in a new relationship when relationships change and move on. We move away that so that we can allow love to enter and heal and reconnect us again. We are not separate, we are all connected. There is no need for loneliness in this world because we are all intrinsically connected. We're all one family. We're all connected to this greater soul. Taking 3 more breaths here. See if you can sink your hips a little deeper for the last 3, 2, and 1. Lifting your hips up, placing your hands on the ground, extend your right leg back and extend it out. Wiggling your toes, rotating your ankle, and then the other way. Then give that leg a good shake. Are you trying to shake your toes off? And then bending the knee, take 3 circles one way, and the other way. And knee down. Checking the balance of our hips, any movement that's needed. Before stepping our left foot underneath our left knee. And again, coming up to our first dragon, allowing our hips to sink down. So if you can start with a seated dragon, then do allow the hips to kind of sink in so that we get that sensation on our hip flexor. And then there's a place that you don't want to go. See if you can go there. No, I don't want to go there, I might break. And then if you need to come into sleeping dragon, the sensation's too strong, then do. But try to push yourself a little bit, but not into pain. Try and deal with the mental blockages, as opposed to the purely physical ones. You know, as well as our emotions, there's also these thoughts, these thought beliefs that are obviously intrinsically connected to our emotional beliefs, but that limit us. Believe, you know, we're not good enough, that we're too good, that no one is good enough, this blame that we put upon other people, upon ourselves. What would it feel like not to have those beliefs? What would it feel like to believe that you could do anything? You could live anywhere. You could have as much or as little wealth as you yourself chose in your mind. If it was galvanized in love, if it was true to your soul, true to your purpose, if it felt absolutely right, then it will happen. But we have to get those beliefs out of the way. You know, if people gossip about us behind our back, it's actually their issue. It's nothing to do with us. Taking that left foot to the outside of the left hand. Your choice, you can stay resting on those hands, or you take a pile of your blocks or your bolster to come into your sleeping dragon. Using your Ujjayi breath to be here, you have the choice to roll onto the outside edge of that left foot. Listen to your body. You know, as we learn to listen to our physical needs, as we can start to develop our emotional sensitivity to listen to our emotional needs, to meet those physical and emotional needs, not just simply the desires of our physical and emotional nature. We start to create a path through which we can start to see our thought patterns. We can start to see those things in our lives, those cycles that keep happening to us because we keep creating them. If we find that place of peace in our center, we learn to harness the power of our mind through developing our intuition, through actively giving ourselves time for meditation, or just 10 minutes for you. No one else, no other identity that you've put upon yourself that other people have put upon you. Just to listen to yourself, just to sit with yourself, just to feel how in your body you feel. What a gift to give to yourself, but not only that, you're training yourself to develop that intuition. And that intuition will only develop after continuous work, after paving that path to peace, to making that channel to see, and then drawing what you see back down into how you act and what you say, and then even in how you think. If it's too strong, back off a little bit of movement. Otherwise, we're here for another near a minute. Sitting with your uncomfortability, with your difficulties, use your breath. Use your mind. You don't have to identify if it's emotional, physical, or mental. If it's too strong for you, just back off a little bit. Breathe a little more deeply. And it's the same in our lives. What things are we pushing ourselves too much in? What things do we need to back off from? What things do we need to scrap completely? Maybe this pose is not for us. Maybe we need to just come into hands and knees. Last 3 breaths here. Two. And 1. Lifting your hips up, pushing into those hands. And then with your hands under your shoulders, extend that left leg back. Rotating your wrists, stretching your toes, rotating your ankle, your foot wrists. And the other way. And then shake the leg. Blood right down to the toes. And then rotating that knee, 3 circles one way, and 3 circles the other way. Nice. Return your knee back underneath your hip. Check on what's happened to your hips, your pelvis. Something's happened, but you don't know what. Yeah? Exhaling, rounding. Inhaling, exhaling, cat-cow, a few cat-cows. So bringing those poses together, just walk your knees forwards to where your hands were and see how your knees feel to sit back on your feet. So open up your knees enough so that you're almost sitting on the soles of your feet. Now grab your bolster. I'll give you variation if you have knee problems. Your bolster goes a good hand away from your feet. You can use the blocks as well, or you can use another bolster. You can use 3 bolsters. I can get some for people if they need it. And then find your way to come back onto your hands. So this might be enough for most of us. Just check where those blocks are. Some of you are going to miss your blocks when you come down. And see if you can get those blocks in between your shoulder blades. So this is for different people. This is you're gonna feel this in different places. So adjust those blocks so that your chest feels supported and that you're not impacting your spine. Your arms are opening up to the sides with your palms out. If it's too strong for your knees and for your thighs, then you need more pillows to raise yourself up. If you have knee problems or knee injury, then simply bring the soles of the feet together. And when you go into Baddha Konasana or a butterfly pose, you may need less blocks than what you need for saddle. So adjust accordingly and allow those palms to be facing up, whichever pose you're in. So saddle is a really great pose for the whole front line of our body. It exposes us. Our heart is on full display. This is what I like to think of as the worst pose to be in if a wild predator was in the room. Yeah? This is like all your vital organs on show, yeah? This is exposing. It's like I could come around and tickle your bellies really easily, your armpits, you're completely unprotected. I wouldn't do that. I'd be crossing some kind of boundary, I think. But it's tempting sometimes. See if you can find a way to challenge those fears of being exposed, of showing yourself. See if you can breathe into that heart, and your heart is your second seat of your soul. It's where your soul really expresses itself. It's where you really feel your intuitive nature of your soul. Your third eye you may see, but in your heart you feel when something is true for you or right for you. Breathe into that heart and send that down to your palms of your hands, to your fingers. Watch what happens to how you feel as you sit in this pose, as you try and allow your arms just to be heavy. Your gaze inwards and upwards, and with your inner gaze, you're looking to your heart. Can you find that place of peace even in these exposing situations? Can you come back to your breath? Can you put yourself out there? And those that will judge. But can you just be who you are? Can you speak what's right for you, your truth? Can you transform yourself by harnessing the power of anger to motivate yourself to make those changes? Okay, I'm getting angry a lot at the moment. Why is that? Maybe you're tired. Maybe you're doing too much. Maybe there's something that's fundamentally not right in your routine of every day that you've just created for yourself. Or that might have just simply happened from no conscious thought. How could I be more at peace with myself in my daily life? Do I need more time in nature, walking? Do I need more time with family? Do I need less time with family? Do I need more vocational work and less financial work? And when we're truly living our vocation, we will be financially supported. And we separate the two in our minds. If our knees or our back starts giving out, then of course release our legs. Adjust your pose, otherwise another 5 breaths here. Take a big inhale, exhale through your mouth. Last 3. Watch the sensations, the feelings, uncomfortability, sickness, laughter, anger, fear, whatever it may be. Take one last deep breath, exhale through your mouth. And then coming out the way you came in, bringing your chin to your chest, pushing your hands up, pushing your arms up, coming into child, maybe bringing a block with you for your forehead. And either bringing your fingertips together or just having your palms up or down, but consciously seeing where your hands need to be. Relax those shoulders. Looking inwards and upwards to your third eye. Feeling that inner peace that is always there, that inner place within which you can hear, you can know, you can see, you can feel that whole magnetic force of your soul talking to you continuously. When you know something is going to be good for you, when you know that certain foods are going to be good for you, when you know you're reaching for something as a comfort, as a crux, whether it's chocolate, coffee, crisps, work, escapism, running. There are so many ways that we run away from ourselves, that we try to pretend that voice isn't there. Because it's easier to keep doing what we've always done. It's much harder to challenge our flow, our regular flow. But instead we shift into a higher gear and we flow with the universal flow, as opposed to this ego idea of what its flow is. Oh yeah, I function most bestly with CrossFit every single day, kettlebells, with a diet of purely beans and coffee. And we create whatever construct it is without really listening within. You know, some days we just need to rest. Equally, some days when we're used to resting and we just want to sit on the sofa, we need to get out there and do something. Walk in the fresh air, reading a new book, starting a new course, whatever that may be. Just simply sitting with ourselves for 10 minutes to find that peace again, to listen to that voice again, to see that truth again. Last 2 breaths here. And then gently walking yourself to sitting and swinging those legs around. Those legs will need a big release. Rotating your ankles. Move away your props. We're going to come onto our backs, so however you choose to, whether you come onto your side first or you just roll down onto your back. Bring your knees into your belly, rocking side to side, bring the knees either side of you. We're just going to take happy baby for a minute, so hold on to your feet or your ankles, yeah, or your toes, stretching your legs, and trying to regress to that place in your life when you were just a happy baby. You didn't care about what was happening in the news, what the weather was doing, what Mary down the road was baking for the next cake sale, or the price of petrol. When you just kind of enjoyed the experience of being able to touch your feet, because it was the first time you touched your feet and it was pretty awesome. This pose is not known as manic depressed baby, this is a happy baby, yeah? So go for it. Take a big inhale, exhale. You know, your life could still be like that. There's so many new experiences. What are the new experiences that you'd like to have? That you deep down and up high, you desire. The high level of desire. And then bringing your knees together. Drop your knees to the left-hand side while you extend your right arm out. Coming into a nice side twist. You can use a bolster underneath your knees if your shoulder isn't staying on the floor. And just feel the twist through that spine. Inhaling upwards and exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Feel the full length of that twist. Taking 3 more breaths. And then draw the knees up and over to the other side. The knees fall to the right now, the left arm opens up. You can hold down the knees if you choose. Breathing up and down that spine, enjoy that full body twist. Last deep inhale, last deep exhale. And then come back onto your back. Take your bolster and just shuffle your bolster so it goes underneath your knees. So your bolster is lengthwise, your feet drop out to the side, your arms out away from your body. I'm just going to come around and give you some blankets. And just feel the weight of your body on the ground. Allow everything to be completely heavy. Allowing the story to fully drop away. The things that are good, the things that are bad, the things you love, the things you hate. And just allowing everything to just simply be. And be okay with it, you know? We get so het up in these different things that we think are important. From how we look, how we smell, what we wear, what people think about us. And just let all of that go. All of that is blocking you of our own impatience of wanting to be somewhere that we're not. And just to let yourself be where you are right now. Full of all aspects of the universe. Feeling through our physical nature. Feeling into your toes. Into the soles of your feet. Into your calves. Softening and letting it go. And the backs of your knees and the fronts of your knees. And your thighs and your hips. Softening your pelvis and all your internal organs. Softening the sides of your body and your chest. And your shoulders and your arms. Down through your elbows, your forearms, your wrists, your palms, your fingers, your fingertips, the backs of your hands. Softening your throat, your neck, your spine. Allowing your face to soften, your tongue relaxed in the roof of your mouth. The nose and face soft, ears relaxed. Crown of the head soft. The whole body relaxes. Allow that body just to be. As you allow fear and grief and guilt and anger to wash away, like it's running off you like water, like it's going back to the earth. And as you bring your awareness to your heart, you feel that deep love and joy and courage and beauty in the world. And as you aspire upwards, you're filled with wonder, amazement at all that might be, that could be, that you don't understand. Like a child arriving on this earth, looking at the world, looking at all of the things in our world, and asking, what is it? Why is it there? Why am I here? As we look up, like we look up to the night sky, as we see that infinite nature above us, within us, those distant stars with lights from eons ago. And here we are in our place, in this time, in this physical place, in this physical body, right here, right now. How amazing is that? As you let go of that breath, filled with wonder, allow yourself to expand to your highest and to your deepest potential. And as you come back to watch your breath, that simple movement of air in to your nostrils, into your body, just feel what that breath feels like. Feel any vibrational sensations and their physical correspondence. Feel the movement of your chest, the pressure against the ground, the feeling of warm or cold air against your lip. Taking that breath deeper down into your toes. Maybe take the breath a little bigger. Watching the feelings of your body on the floor. Taking the breath into your chest and out your arms and down your fingers as you wiggle your fingers. And then from the chest down, the spine, rooting yourself once more. And then up the spine, up to the crown. And again back down and up. Being this channel, making this peace, this space. As you take a big inhale and a big stretch, roll yourself onto one side and just give yourself a big kutch, a big hug. Just feeling what it's like to be you right here, right now for this moment. Taking what you've learnt about yourself today, what maybe things you'd like to do in your life, or just to change up your routine, to give yourself more space, whatever that thing it might be. And then very gently pushing yourself up to sitting, back to where we started. Bring your hands to your face. Bringing your fingers from the insides of your eyebrows, along your eyebrows, to your temples. Massage your temples. And again, from the insides to the outsides. And again, massage the temples. Last time, from the inside to the outsides. And across the forehead and out into the whole skull. As you massage your skull and your head, feel all that tension from overthinking, and just shake it off. Massaging the back of that neck and the shoulders. How many need to book a massage? If only I was a masseuse now. Please see me afterwards. I'm offering a discount code. Self-care. Are we giving ourselves enough of that? Just a little massage down one arm and down the other. Just a little squeeze. And your wrists. And into the palms of your hand. Take one thumb, roll around the whole of that palm. And the other palm. Shake fingers. Sweeping across the face. Little tap on the chest. On the sides. And even the back. And lastly, the heart. And then sitting. Just see how you feel. Take a big inhale and exhale. Notice the difference in your own inner quality. Not inequality, inner quality, yeah? And just watch. Either sounding or listening to a single Om. Feeling that peace within you that's always there, that's a place you can always go back to. No matter how stressful the situation is, no matter how much you get drawn back into your story in your daily life, that peace is always there. Remembering you can take yourself there by watching your breath, by just taking a small pause before rushing into something or reacting. Taking an inhale and exhale. And inhale for one Om, or simply listen. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Thanks for coming. So on your sheets there is also 2 exercises that follow on from the practice today. So if you want to carry on some meditation or just to give yourself a little bit of time every day, I'd recommend that. And then the second one is a new one, which is to set up a little reflection diary, perhaps at the end of the day, just to note your patterns, just start to become aware of those things that you don't want to see, but that are there. And there's a few different suggestions of things you might want to take note of. And in our observation of ourselves, we start to separate ourselves from, the story us to our true us, and we can change that story through a little bit of awareness. But the precursor is knowing what it is that we want to change in the first place. Optional as always. Thank you.